Welcome back, my Dominoes. Thank you for all the love that I got in my last video, but today's video is going to be on something that's been a staple since Pokemon Red and Green in 1996. We're talking about evolution. Now, there are already some professors in the Pokemon world that cover evolution, but today we're talking about a person in the real world who specializes in that field. But before we get into that, roll that intro. The man this video is centered on is Charles Darwin. For those of you who don't know, Charles Robert Darwin was an English naturalist, geologist, and biologist. His best work contributed to what we know today as evolution and natural selection. Now, what does all of this have to do with Pokemon? A guy by the name of Fungal Spore on Twitter spotted something extremely interesting. Charles Darwin's house may actually be in Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield, and it may have been placed in a geographically accurate spot in the world of Pokemon. If you take a look at the images that Fungal posted, you can see the striking resemblance in the two structures and the styles of the house. Now, this image shows that Charles Darwin's house is in fact next to a river in England. In the Sword and Shield map, the house in question is also next to a tiny river. Now, you're probably thinking, aren't there two professors already covering the field of evolution? Well, yes. Professor Rowan from Sinnoh specializes in evolution. Professor Sycamore in Kalos has Mega Evolution covered. Now, what other form of evolution is there? Armored evolution, which in itself is a rumor at this time. Now, I'd like to point out that the only actual leak we have is the one from the 21st of February, which was posted 6 days before the reveal of Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield, and Armored evolution was listed in that post. Now, why would Charles Darwin or a character similar fit the role of this professor perfectly? The main focus of Charles Darwin's The Origin of Species, published in 1859, was to summarize adaptation. Darwin had figured out through years of research that the finches on the Galapagos Islands' beaks had adapted to the type of food they ate in order to fill different niches in the Galapagos. Now, in this book, Darwin discussed how species changed over time, including divergent evolution or adaptive radiation. Pokemon may have already taken a few pages out of Charles Darwin's books. To note something, according to Professor Sycamore, Megastones are the results of evolutionary stones being irradiated by the power of Serenus or Yveltal. And I hope I pronounced those names correctly. I probably didn't. We already have some Pokemon that fit the bill of adaptation based on habitat. Shellos, for example, has an east and west variant. Now, what better way for a Pokemon to adapt specifically to the sport of Pokemon battles than with Armored evolution, or they've recently been called Spirit Armored evolution. If a Pokemon is lacking in the attack stat, they use the Sword form. If they're lacking in the defense department, they use the Shield form. Now, in no way, shape, form, or fashion am I trying to substantiate this rumor, but a post I found floating around mentions a new bird line based on a finch. It fit perfectly with Professor Darwin, wouldn't it? Regional bird variant? Who knows? Now, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you think I'm right? Do you think it's possible? Or do you think I'm just reaching? I have to thank Fungal Spore for all this information that he posted on Twitter. I also have to thank Paul Rugg and Eduardo. If you guys don't know who these two are, they specialize in analysis, theory, and information in the Pokemon community. Thank you guys so much. Like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you think. That'll do it for this video. Dom out.